The numbers help tell the story. More than 700,000 children and adults in Massachusetts don't know where their next meal is coming from. And while those households struggle, as much as 40% of the food produced and sold in the United States winds up in a landfill. A big contributor to that figure, supermarkets and restaurants throwing away thousands of dollars of food each day. As part of this week's in-depth focus report, WGBH News reporter Adam Reilly takes us inside the food rescue movement that's taking hold here in Boston.
It's just before noon on a recent Friday when Meg Kiley pulls up behind the Whole Foods in Charlestown. She parks her truck and heads straight for the loading dock.
Good afternoon.
What's up?
Out comes a cart that's packed with fresh food. Gallons of milk, bright yellow bananas, and tomatoes that look like they just came off the vine, along with enough avocados to whip up a vat of guacamole.
Thanks, sir.
All of these items are perfectly edible, but because of aesthetic flaws and bygone sell dates, they're unlikely to find a buyer. For Kiley and her employer, the food rescue organization Lovin Spoonfuls, that is good news.
If that food is going to get tossed anyway, there's no reason why somebody who would really appreciate it shouldn't get it.
That's where Lovin Spoonfuls comes in. The 6-person nonprofit, which operates out of a tiny office on Commonwealth Avenue, has a simple mission: save good food before it's thrown out and get it to people who might otherwise go hungry.
We're wasting over 40% of the food that we produce in this country.
Ashley Stanley founded Lovin Spoonfuls after what she describes as a personal epiphany.
I was eating lunch at a small restaurant in Wellesley. I was full before I had gotten to, the next plate of food. And for that one moment, I looked at the plates on the table, and there was enough. Not just enough for me, but there was enough probably to feed 5 or 6 people.
4 years later, Lovin Spoonfuls rescues 15,000 pounds of food every week. Donors get a tax break and some free PR, while organizations like Rosie's Place and the Pine Street Inn get fresh, nutritious food for their clients. After her pickup, Meg Kiley heads to Project Soup, an emergency food pantry in East Somerville.
Got these bananas.
Okay.
The drop-off is quick, with Kiley and Project Soup's Nina Siciliano ferrying everything from truck to pantry in a matter of minutes.
Definitely have some happy families who'll come and we'll give it out.
Great.
Thank
All
you
right,
so much.
no problem.
As Kiley climbs back in the truck and drives off, Siciliano gives her take on what today's Lovin Spoonfuls drop-off means.
It's very important. It's what keeps our doors open. Today we've got milk, we've got potatoes, fresh peppers, avocados, oranges, apples. We got a nice variety today.
And how quickly will that stuff go to people who are clients?
Well, we could service anywhere between 5 and 15 to 20 families a day. And we're here 6 days a week, so it may last us a day or two, and it'll go.
But after it's gone, Lovin Spoonfuls will be back.
My initial assumption was that food rescue was more a matter of principle than a pragmatism. I figured, this makes sense in theory, but it wouldn't have large-scale practical applications. But the advocates of food rescue make a pretty compelling case. We heard some dramatic numbers in that piece. The number that I will remember, I think, 10 years from now, is that it's estimated that a Rose Bowl's worth of food is wasted by Americans every day. When you think of that, a 90 or 95,000-seat stadium, it's a jaw-dropping figure.
It's something that I think about all the time when I go through Whole Foods, and I always wonder what happened to some of that stuff. But will Lovin Spoonfuls take anything? Or?
They will not take anything. They won't take food that is past an expiration date. They'll take it if it's past a sell-by date, but not a use by this date. And for prepared foods, we saw I think some sandwiches there, that sort of thing. They'll take those if they have been handled in a very specific way to address safety concerns, and if not, they won't take them.
All right, Adam, thanks for that.
Thanks, Emily.
Great. All right, well, Lovin Spoonful isn't the only group in Massachusetts that rescues food. Kirsten Sims sits on the board of Food for Free, an organization that started rescuing food back in 1981. Thanks for joining us, Kirsten.
Thank you so much for having me.
How does your organization differ from Lovin Spoonfuls?
Well, we, like a few other organizations, are dealing with this food waste problem. Food for Free very much focuses on the fresh produce aspect of food. So we are working with farmers markets and the farmers themselves to make sure that 70% of our food in the distribution ring is coming from fresh produce, so that we're, giving those healthy food products to, farm to table, with that whole thing coming along.
And how do you distribute it?
We distribute through, we have a delivery system that works with community organizations, church groups, that then distributes through to their people. Actually, I do a lot of work in Cambridge with our Cambridge Community Center, and I've seen the program happen firsthand, where these families come in and they're so excited to see this beautiful, fresh, there's bananas, there's avocados, some of the same things we just saw, and they're so excited. They talk about their recipes and what they're going to do with it, and their children are all involved. It's a really wonderful, wonderful way to see the program in action.
How come organizations like yours, Food for Free and Lovin Spoonfuls, can't, not that you're a small operation, but why can't this be scaled up? If 40% of all the food that is produced in America goes to waste, and I have no problem believing that figure, I'm probably guilty. How many heads of lettuce do I throw out a month? Why can't it be scaled up so that it's like just pouring out the doors?
Well, I think that this is being approached on a number of different levels. There's, I think it is. It's in, the last 33 years that Food for Free has been in existence. We thought that this was a solution to the hunger problem, and we're still fighting it, 33 years later, and the hunger issue is getting worse, and we're dealing with more waste. So, there's the aspect of your own personal, like you said, with your heads of lettuce, and then there's also, organizationally, and there are more hands-on to do this. We, Food for Free, collected and distributed over 1 million pounds of food last year to 25,000 people in Massachusetts. So I think with, everybody's awareness increasing, that there is a way to make it become a daily protocol.
All right, I want to bring somebody into the discussion who we actually had on Boston Public Radio as well. He brings food rescue to a whole other level, I'd say. Maximus Thaler is a gleaner, which means he often retrieves his food from dumpsters outside groceries and restaurants. Welcome to you, Maximus. So describe the food, though. You're not talking about stuff that's half-eaten or...
Well, here, I'll show you, because I brought some. I got these in the dumpster last night. So here are some brownies, and here's some goat milk, and here's a mug to drink it in. I made this,
see the brownies.
by the way. Here you are.
Does it have a... So does it have an expiration date?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe the expiration date is today or yesterday. I mean, but you can see they're completely wrapped in plastic, right? So I found this in the trash, but there might be a little bit of crud on there, but you open it up and it's a perfectly good brownie.
Absolutely, and despite the fact that it was made by Whole Foods, I'm sure it has plenty of preservatives in it.
Yeah, well, but there's a lot of really great food that's in the dumpster too. I mean, there's so much fresh produce, because there's this thing that grocery stores, they're not. It's very surprising, but they're not actually in the business of feeding people. They're in the business of making money and selling packaged products. And so something like bananas, right? A grocery store gets bananas, a shipment in, once every few days, and they have to buy more than they can sell, because if they don't buy more than they can sell, then they're going to look empty. And
you got to tell me, though, what you do with this food for the most part.
I eat it. I make sure that it doesn't go to waste. Do you
serve it to other people?
Yeah. Well, I started an initiative called the Gleaner's Kitchen last summer, where we were dumpster diving food and serving it to people for free, because why would you charge if it comes from the dumpster? We ran into some difficulties. We ended up getting evicted because the landlord didn't like what we were doing. We were sort of blending private and public space. But it's a really remarkable problem, and it's really a cultural one as far as I see it. Is that people don't really understand what their food is and where it comes from and what is good food anymore, because we're so subject to the whims of advertisers and packages.
I mean, Kirsten, this probably grosses out a lot of people, but I totally understand it. Now, if it's meat or something like that, I don't know if I'd want to take it. Would you? I'm not surprised, because you can cook meat, especially chicken and that kind of thing. But I mean, a lot of people would probably be revolted if they knew that.
Well, there is that issue, absolutely. But
I've written a book on this very subject, actually, which is that a lot of people don't see the possibilities of the food that is presented to them, because we think in terms of finished dishes and products and things. And there's so much that you can do with the food that you have if you know how to prepare it, how to process it. But that requires knowing your ingredients on a way that most people don't.
Now, does Whole Foods, or no, I shouldn't pick on Whole Foods, or whatever grocery store or whatever restaurant, do they mind you doing this?
You get, it's a very fuzzy thing. I mean, it's, I'll run into employees and sometimes they say, oh yeah, fine, that's okay, or sometimes they tell us to leave. But it's all very nebulous, and most people just aren't aware of it. It's just people, the waste system is designed so that people throw it away and then forget about it.
Well, also I think in this situation we're talking about something that's prepared and has been discarded, which is very different than what Food for Free is collecting, which is, sometimes we're getting things that are coming, and being distributed before they're actually going to markets and things like that. So it really is that fresh. It's not something that, doesn't have a use anymore, or is, gross, or is, out of date, or is damaged and bruised. Like, it's all beautiful, brand new, produce and things like that. So the grossness factor in that kind of a collection may not.
I'd eat it. All right. Maximus Taylor, Kirsten Sims, thanks so much.